Now, I want to pause here and, if you'll permit me, to acknowledge something that I think is really important for me to share with my listeners and viewers so that you have some background context to the memo that I wrote and that I'm going to read to you in just a few minutes. And I will pose it in the form of a question that I had to ask myself as I was drafting the memo and preparing to actually send it and then do a press release of all things. Who the heck do I think I am? And how arrogant do I have to be to think that I can or should write a 5-page memo to 18 of the top largest forensic science organizations in the United States and actually think that they will act on it or should act on it just because this John Collins guy thinks they should? I mean, come on, right? And that's a fair question. And furthermore, any one of you and any of the organizations that I sent my memo to can decide for themselves if I am somebody who is worth paying attention to. If my warnings are worth anyone's time, if they warrant any kind of formal action, or if I'm just a big mouth trying to get attention. Anyone's free to draw whatever conclusion they want about me as the messenger. And I'm not going to take up time in this episode rehashing my resume. What I've done is in the public record. But there are a couple of things in particular that, in my opinion, would tend to justify somebody deciding to take my memorandum seriously, at least, and thinking that this is not, in fact, someone who is arrogant or is just trying to get attention or draw attention to himself. That this is someone who actually cares deeply about this issue and has for a long, long time. So let me put it to you this way. And I've thought about this a lot in recent months. You know, there are a lot of people out there, very capable, very credentialed professionals who want to be influencers within their professional communities and even beyond. They want to be relevant. They want to be thought leaders. But they never really gain the amount of influence or relevance that they crave. They just don't make the kind of meaningful long-term impact that they want to make. You know, they feel like they deserve to be admired and respected and really impressive, and they feel like they're making a lot of great contributions, and they are oftentimes making some really good contributions. But what they really are, when it comes down to it in many different ways, is minglers. They mingle, they interact, they converse, and that's all really great. It really is. But mingling is not the same as having an impact. I'm not a mingler. I never have been. It just doesn't come naturally to me, and I often wish that I was. And the reason that I think I'm able to do the things I do now, such as this podcast and writing books and teaching workshops, and the reason that I personally gained some degree of professional attention many years ago within the forensic science community, and as well as some other pockets of the criminal justice system, and why I think I've been able to have what has been a real significant, meaningful, and long-term impact on the practice and administration of forensic science in the United States, is because I paid a dear price for it.